G'day, Harry Houdini here from Australia, and look, we are back with the Skoda. Well, if it's like a 35T, but I'm making a Skoda, yes, Czechoslovakia, apparently. Look where we have got. Yeah, that's a set of links. Yeah, you say, oh, that's all very good, you know. That's link and length. Do you remember that as a vz.35? Do you remember that ruddy Russian tank, the BT7? Oh, go back and have a look. Watch me lose follicles over the link and length with that, because the BT7, they linked, but they didn't have the length. Now, this kit is beautiful. Absolutely perfect. You had so many little links at the end here that you could set it to whatever kind of tension you wanted. But even better than that, let's go in really close here. See this top run? Now that is one piece, okay? This big long piece here, and it's flat. But it's not flat on mine. This kit has such thin tracks, thin plastic on the tracks, that you can bend them and you can create your own sag. How about that? I will show you how I put these tracks on, because they went on like a breeze, like everything with this kit so far. It has been so easy. If I can find some more of these kits, I'm going to snaffle them, put the boxes on the shelf for a day when I just want to really enjoy myself building something that fits together perfectly, and it's nice and easy, and it's just a joy. This kit is a joy. I love it. I really do. Okay, enough of that, me falling in love with my plastic kit. Goodness me. We'll have to get a room. Actually, we have a room. Oh dear. Let's have a look how I do the links, because Panzermiser36, he said, I've got this great technique, and I watched his clip and it was really interesting. And his method works really well for him. But I do it differently. And so I said I'd show you how I do it, Mr. Panzermeister 36. Here it is. Right, so here's the instructions that we get from CMK, and they're quite clear. Now, always with any tank that I build, especially when I go to put the tracks on, the tracks have a certain direction. They link in a certain way, with one section pointing up or pointing down in the track link. And you can reference photographs on the internet and find out exactly the way it should go. And sometimes even the box art's quite useful, although here it's kind of vague. It doesn't really tell you how they divide and how it goes. But for once, and it's only because I've been let down by Dragon and everyone else so many times that they give you the wrong way of doing it. CMK, and again, this kit is just a joy. The link and length parts, they put them in the correct order, they face them correctly in the drawing, and they're symmetrical for each side, so there isn't a left or a right side to this particular tank. The tracks are interchangeable from one side to the other, but what they tell you to do, that's it. You can follow the instructions. I know I sound surprised, but really I've had so much drama with the Dragon kits putting their tracks on and trying to find out exactly which way they go. Zvezda, which was a nightmare. Even the Trumpeter one, when I basically tried to put that together, I followed what I thought was correct from the instructions, and the tracks actually ended on back and front. Not that you can really tell, they're a bit hard to tell. Russian tracks are a little bit vertically symmetrical, I suppose. So it's a bit hard to tell. The tops and the bottoms will look the same. But anyhow, I digress. You can follow the instructions. Isn't that terrific? It's just so much fun. Now, there is a little part here, Mr. B8 and B9, which is some sort of protection flange or something that sits there at the back wheel. It must sort of stop gunk and things going in there. Do you know what that is? I've seen it on a few tanks. They sort of have a little thing at the back there, you know, that does something. I don't know what it is. Let me know. Please comment and let me know. I'd like to know what the bloody hell it is I'm building. Anyhow, this tiny little weeny little thing, this little flangey business, right? He goes in here. Right? He doesn't go in there. He's going to go on the other side, isn't he? And put bloody tracks in there. He goes in here. So he's going to pop in there. So, you know, I don't know if that's obvious. Anyhow, you get what I'm sort of on about. He sort of fits in there. Now, if we glue him in, that will bugger my entire system that I have where things are just dry fitted and pop off. Because that's how I like to do it. Everything on this is dry fitted, right? These bogies, they're dry fitted. See? Nothing is glued, right? Even the little wheels, all these wheels, as I discovered last time, I can pop all of these wheels out of the bogies. And that means I can give everything sort of assembled, so I can do this little track wrap, and then I can pull it all apart and go and paint it, right? And that's the beauty of here, you see? That nothing's glued except for the track links and the bogie assemblies, all right? And the wheel components themselves. But those wheels will pop off. All the little wheels in here will pop off, the bogies pop off, and so the whole thing can come apart and I can weather those tracks independently, get the colours I want. You know, that's my method. My method is I'm not going to build the tank and then try and paint everything in situ. I can't do that. It's too hard for me. I can't figure out how people do that. They're obviously a hell of a lot smarter than me because I can't figure that one out. It would be just too hard to get in and paint each individual thing. I mean, I don't even put the tools on. I leave the tools separate and paint them. And I really assemble everything pretty well pre-painted. But that's my method. Anyhow, and it's my bloody video and I'll show you how the bloody well I'm going to do it. Anyhow, so shut up and watch. No. Just fast forward for all this rubbish. We'll get to something interesting in a sec. I'll click all those bits back on and then I'll show you how I do track links, link and length. Alright, here we are. Click the bogies back on and then I'll start cutting out the track pieces, and I found they come off really nicely with the knife. Alright, well that cut off beautifully and it required the minimal amount of cleanup. All I had to do to clean up these lengths, because the sprue points are just on the sides here, yes, that and that. That was it. Easy as that. Beautiful. Yeah, really nice, cleverly well thought out kit. Really impressed with this. Okay, what I do now, and I should have really done this before, but I'll do it now. Unlike Mr. Panzermeister, who does his on top of a steel raw, which works for him, I'll put down some Tamiya tape on my cutting board. And this is going to be sticky side up, and all I'm doing is rolling the ends over. Right. And then my steel rule, no, RSPCA, be nice to animals. My steel rule then sits just on the edge of my tape, which does a couple of things. It stops my tape from flapping, right? And it's going to give me a nice hard edge to work on so I can get my links straight. Now with link and length it's not too bad because a lot of your pieces are long, right? But if you're doing Indy links, you could end up with a big curve or get it all wonky, I don't know. This was a method I learnt early on from looking at various other people's methods, and it seemed like the one that made a lot of sense. I did my first set of Indy links on a cyber hobby kit. It was easy. They went together beautifully, they wrapped on the tank, no problem. So I'm sticking with it, and I find it works for link and length. Right, so I need to check the direction, have a look at my instructions, and again they are very clear, even their drawings are correct. 2 prongs to the back, 3 prongs point forward. So we'll build it exactly as per the instructions there, and we'll make sure that when I've got my tracks and I'm ready to wrap them, I have the back here and the front there, so it'll all match up. Okay, just a bit of thinking ahead. I've said that in previous videos, just think ahead. So my first links, that's the easy one because that's a big long one. All right, and there they are. They're up against the rule, and all I do now is follow the instructions and add links. And the beauty is with this, I'm putting them down on the sticky tape. They're not going to fall on the floor. They're not going to get lost. I can make sure everything's clicked together, and then when it comes to gluing, that's easy too. Let me show you how it's done. Well, that's going together very easily, isn't it? Now, I thought I'd get out of speedy motion and go to real time now, just to show you what's happening here. Now, the little links, I pick them up with the guide horns. Don't know if you can see what I'm doing there, see? Links usually have guide horns, sometimes or some tanks they have two. But they've usually got one, except for some odd Russian tank tracks. But the beauty with the guide horn is then I can just basically use the tweezers to take them and click them in. Now, links also usually have little holes in them. And I find you can always get your tweezers in, and that allows you to push them up nice and hard. So I'm pushing up hard against the rule, and I'm pushing up hard against the other track links. Now this is link and length, so there'll be long sections of links that don't require glue along them, and only where I've joined a little piece to a big piece or a couple of little piece links together, that's where I require putting the cement in. And that's why I'm using the graphite pencil, so I mark that for later. Now that only took me 15 minutes to cut from the sprue, clean up and assemble those track links. And it's a piece of cake. And as long as I've remembered to use my pencil to mark the guide horns for the ones I need to cement, you know, if it was all links and there were no lengths, it was just little links, well, you'd glue every single one. But this way, I've marked those guide horns, and you know, this graphite actually I'd use anyway later on for weathering, so it's not getting in the way. It's actually adding to the whole thing, adding to the patina of my track links. So now I can get my cement, and all I've got to do is, if I'm happy and they're all nice and straight, and they are, and it's not a problem, and just got to get my bingo tickets, right? You know about my bingo tickets? You know about my bingo tickets. 22, one little duck, you know. 69, takes a lot of licking. 181, metric 69. Oh dear, I cracked it last time, I cracked it again. You'll figure it out. So I get my cement now, and all I've got to do is find those little joins, which I've marked quite clearly with the graphite. And I'm not putting on much at all really, I'm just putting enough to, it's a big length. I'm just putting on enough to, in the middle. And the reason I'm going in the middle and not all the way to the ends is most of these will probably be covered by wheels. So any distortion from the plastic cement won't be seen, and the weathering will hide so much. So really, that was it. And I mean, this is easy. You know, this is link and length. You know, it's nowhere near as hard as doing Indy Links. So knock them up, clean them up really quickly. It's so easy, and they can be cleaned afterwards. I'll show you the trick later on. I found if you did miss a couple, again you can actually sand these links once they're assembled. Not bad. Right, I'm going to leave that for 15 minutes. I'm going to go make a nice fresh cup of tea. For you it'll be mere seconds. You will not have the joy of a nice cup of tea with me, but just use your imagination. Alright, so hooroo, see you in a sec. So there you go, the magic of television. Now, I've got my tank pointing the right way. That's the front of it, that's the back of it. And if you remember, we had the back there because we were building as per the plan. The back is here. Now, all I've got to look for is where these joins are. Now, this great big long length here, that will be easy to identify because, again, I've got my little marks on here. Can you see them? The graphite marks. So there's that graphite mark there. There's a graphite mark there. I know that's the length that goes underneath those bogies. So it's going to be fairly easy for me to get this together. Now, first thing I've got to do is I've got to get these off the sticky. You could try and build it on the sticky, but that makes a god-awful mess, I can tell you. So what I do is I get my tweezers and I just simply slide underneath. And it's fairly easy with link and length because most of them aren't really stuck down. But even when you've got Indy Links, they come off fairly easy, and then I use a pencil to make sure that the ones at the back don't fall down. I keep sliding my pencil in, and I just slide that tweezers along, which frees them up nicely. And they come off really easy. And I've never had them break, I've never really had any problems at all. So there you go, and that's just the linky one there. Oh, so we are off, alright? Right, Is that a little easier to see? Alright, so I've spun everything round, but I've made sure I've still got my track links pointing correctly. Reversed them, reversed thing. I can see graphite there, I can see graphite there. I therefore know those 2 points are where those bogies end, so roughly that's where it's going to sit. Don't stress too much because you'll be able to move this around, all kinds of things with it. Now I can wrap around my back ones here, straight into that wheel. Okay, and they're going to need to go a little bit further forward. All right. I can wrap around my front ones. Okay. This is where it gets easier if you do this. So you can start to see the actual where the lengths are, and you can confirm that's exactly where they should be. Now, because that's got to fit into the sprockets, see, those links have to fit into the sprockets. The beauty of me not having this glued hard, this wheel glued on, is it will rotate. So I can get the tension right, and I can get that to fit into the sprockets. The same at the front here, I can work out how I get that into the sprockets there, and I can rotate those. So having all that play, I can do a lot of rotating and a lot of mucking around. I can make sure that I have got this so that it will join, and it should join there. So if I've got them all in correctly, then these two links here will join up perfectly. And it's a pretty tight little fit on this one. You have got an extra track link if you really want to have a lot more sag. But all the photos I saw, there was virtually no sag at all. There was only a tiny hint of sag. So I didn't bother doing that. So there we go, a little bit of fettling, okay? And I've got those fitting in there, and I've got those sprockets fitting in there. Okay, and there's the join. You can see that's right. That should be coming up there. That one's through there. Now I'll be able to do a bit more with that later. I'm not going to worry about them at the moment. You know, it's basically there. Look, I've put my tracks on. It's not a real big deal. And those two are they'll join together, no trouble at all. You know? I could put a little peg on them or something, but it doesn't really matter. It's a nice kit. It really goes together well. Now I've let these track links set for about an hour. Probably a little more, and that's given them time to really cement in hard. So now that they're well and truly in the shape and glued in position, I can do some tricky things. I can start to remove these dry fitted bogies. They just pop out. Right? Easy as that. That then gives me an area so I can get in and start working on the bend, on the sag, the bendy bits, the bendy tracky bits. It's getting late, getting sleepy. All I do is pinch the return roller with my finger and then get my tweezers in there and gently worry it so that it bends down a bit. Okay? And then the reverse on the other side. Just basically trying to get it to go around that roller. So, same here. Just distort the plastic a little bit. It's quite thin, so it's got a level of malleability. Alright, so that's all I've been, and I sort of started doing that before, just because I wanted to remember how the bloody hell I did it before I did the video. I didn't want to look like a complete goose, and that's it. That's all that's involved. It's as easy as that. You've got to be gentle. You don't be wrecking the bloody thing, but basically that's all you do, and you just keep messing around with that, and you may be able to see if we'll give you a bit of a side-on view. There you go. You see that it's got some waviness already. So I need to get it as nice as I've done that side, because I really got that that's waving along exactly how I want it. So I can get there. I've just got to basically fiddle with it and worry it. But already it's broken the shape up. It's no longer a big, long, boring, flat piece. I've got little curves happening there. So I'll continue to play with that. I might even do that tomorrow. Might have a good night's sleep now, and I'll come back tomorrow and continue to sort of work on the waviness. But it's achievable. It's easy as that. So that's it. That's all we've got time for. Oh God, it's late. I better get this and post it up to BoobTube, and you guys can all watch it. Go, ooh, look at that. Alrighty, well, that's it for today, and next time I'll probably come back and we'll do the start on the upper hull and all that photo etchy stuff. Boy, that'd be fun. Alrighty, well, it's goodbye from Australia, and it's hooroo from Harry Houdini.